And I managed to get out after 2 weeks, 5 days. I found my phone, which I believe I was set up to find my phone. This woman had something called Munchausen by proxy.
She was the one doing it, right?
And the only reason I got out of there, I think she knew that I was about to die, because if you've seen the videos, I was
out of it, yeah. It's got getting shivers, like, wow.
I started drinking. My first drink probably at 8, 9, 10. Some people just write to you from the other side of the world, and it just touches you, you know what I mean? And when you hear what they've been through,
put it in perspective.
Yeah, and you realise maybe I've been through quite a bit, you know what I mean? I had to write down once everything that alcohol had taken from me, and it was a lot. And then I wrote friends and family, and everything they had taken from them, and it was identical. So you're not on your own, do you know what I mean? There's people that are being affected by your addiction, and if they lose you to that addiction as well, that destroys so much. So everyone, you just mean so much to somebody.
Yeah.
Just talk.
Would you do me a massive favour and click follow or subscribe button? It helps the podcast out so much. Right, we're rolling. Eddie, thanks for coming on the podcast. How are you doing anyway?
I'm good today. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me over.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Obviously, we've been sat downstairs, and obviously, thanks for helping me set up. It's been a bit of a stress trying to get it all set up, but yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Obviously, I saw that you've not done many podcasts. You've only done kind of one before. Just the one, yeah. And I mean, your story, like what you've been through, so inspiring. And obviously, what you do now to kind of help other people with addiction. And I mean, there's so much to kind of unpack. If you go back to your early days or the early years, whereabouts are you brought up?
So I was raised in where I still live. I live in Buxton. Youngest of 5.
You're saying
happy house initially. My dad was a double glazing salesman. My mum, I don't know what she did. She was just at home a lot. And I was the youngest of 5 kids, 1 sister, 3 a lot older brothers. Different time then. He was late 70s, but I'd say it were the 80s, you know, because I was born in 77. But yeah, a different time.
Obviously, your brothers and sisters, saying like your sister was your rock. Have you always been like super close to your sister when you was growing up?
Yeah, definitely. My next eldest brother from me, I don't know, maybe 10 years difference. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe not quite that, but my sister, there's a year and a half. Do you know? So like when she was going first day of school, and then I'm getting all anxious about my first day of school. I'm like, what gate do we go in? What do we do? You know, how does it work and all that? So she's always been that. And then even just like walking down the road, you know, because she was always dead good at spelling, I'd be like, right, how do you spell this? How do you spell that? And stuff like that. She was quite bright to me. And she was just like, she
always there for you.
She just my rock, and that's it. And even now, like I always say, I'd be dead without her. There's not a chance I wouldn't be dead without her.
I mean, them early years.
Yeah.
Kind of hearing about your story, you mentioned obviously your dad was in double glazing and money coming to the family.
Yeah.
Did your family have money before that?
No.
Or was that the first time money? I thought it was interesting because you mentioned that a lot. He made a lot of money. He lived in this massive house. But I'm just thinking before that, like, was money ever around when you was younger?
I don't think money was an issue in them days with anybody, really.
Really?
I was so young and everything like that, but women didn't really work a lot, you know what I mean? And there was nobody locked the door. Everyone had a car. The husbands always worked, but fellas could walk out of one job into another, you know what I mean? It was them sort of days and stuff like that. There was always food. There was always this, so there was no issues of not having any money. But I found out once we moved from, because I think we paid like £1,000 for the house then or something. It might have even been 20, I don't know. But then our next house that we moved into was like
Massive yeah.
Yeah, it was like, just grounds and, we weren't millionaires or nothing, but I seen awards where my dad won, like, got top salesman of the year, had the gift of the gab, so 250,000 and all this lot. And it was a time when double glazing had just come out, so I think it was like...
At the peak, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember much about your dad when you was younger?
I remember... You had to have a lot of respect for my dad. He was... I remember, obviously, with Jehovah's Witness, we'd go to meetings. Meetings were long, they were 5 a week. And on a Sunday, an elder, which my dad was, would have to give an hour's speech before you go through the Watchtower magazine. I always looked forward to my dad's, because my dad you could relate to, and he was a dead good artist, and he'd have pictures, and he could sell, I suppose. He was a good speaker and stuff like that through what he'd done. So I always remember that sort of bit, but him being at home, nah, because he was never at home. He was always working, and then it was meetings.
Was he providing for the family?
Yeah, I think he was providing for the family.
I have that with my own dad. He always says he wished he was there for me more when I was younger, but he was putting the food on the table.
I'm not sure whether he wished there or he was there when he was younger. You got to figure he was what? He had 5 kids, and he would have been late 30s and all that stuff and everything. So he was probably having such a good time at work, having a DOS, going around meeting loads of people who wanted double glazing. I was like, I had a story. Okay, so I used to personal train, and it was one of my old teachers, and she said to me, she goes, do you know your dad sold me my double glazing? She goes, he picked me up and he drove me around Buxton and goes, which door do you like? And she goes, well, I like that one. And he goes, right, well, I'll sort out one for you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just think he was happy doing his own blokey thing. But I know as well, my dad, when my eldest brother was born, was at the casino gambling. And my mum walked in tears saying I'm having a baby. And he was just drinking, being a teddy boy, and didn't really... I think blokes were different then.
Yeah. You say, was he a boxer as well?
So he was regiment champion boxer in the army. He was working at the post office or window cleaning. He had loads of different jobs, and I think he was a bit of a teddy boy. And then he just walked off a job, and then he just joined the army one day.
Yeah.
Then he became regiment champion in the army at boxing, and so he turned pro for a bit. And from the stories I hear, professional boxers hit back. He didn't like being hit back. You know, you soon find out whether
if you want to be in this game or not.
Yeah. So that was that, but that was like, I don't know. I remember writing something when I was a kid about my dad dying, and right at the bottom it just says that my mum always kept it in her purse. It just says my dad was a boxer, and I think that always stuck with me.
Even at a young, how old was you?
Oh, so I was 7. It was 7 days before I was 8 years old that he passed away.
Yeah. Do you remember that day?
Yeah, it was. Hang on, it was a weird day. So,
what do you remember about that day when you?
It was weird.
Yeah.
I was kept off school that day. My mum weren't coping well at the time anyway. We all knew we were going. I think everyone knew we were going to die. We didn't know we were going to die, but I remember we used to have to line the chairs up for him to make it to the bathroom, because he was a strong man. He didn't want any sort of help. And then
what happened to him?
Cardboard bowls and being sick. I don't even know. The story is that he was working on some construction. He was on like some 20-foot bridge. They put some slippery surface on it. They hadn't labelled it up right. He fell, landed on his feet. That jarred somewhere in his spine, which caused some kind of tennis ball, football ball, and the cancer, it turned into cancer, which was absolutely massive and out of control by the time they'd found it. So I've not even thought what type of cancer, but he never smoked, he never done anything like that. And then he just got cancered. He died when he was 44, I think.
Young as well, yeah.
A fit bloke, so yeah, he was a fit bloke. But that day, I remember, we all knew it was happening. We had family up, a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses come to the house, I don't know, because I think they're nosy fuckers and they try and be part of the community. I'm sorry for swearing. And then, he took a short breath and then a long breath, and that was it. And then from that moment on, I got much memories other than life changed big time.
I was going to ask, when that happened, I mean, how did that affect the family as a whole? I know obviously then your mum, I imagine, would have took on a lot, and obviously there's 5 years as well. I mean,
I've got to respect that. I didn't respect that until more recent. So my mum would have been, I don't know what age my mum would have been. She'd have been like late 30s or something like that, with 5 kids and a 7-year-old. And obviously I've been diagnosed with ADHD now and autism, all sorts of personality disorders and all this lot and everything. So I would have been a bit hard to control. And then she's got the older ones who helped her out, and she was involved in this congregation, this Jehovah's Witnesses. They're meant to help your community, but they never.
Well, the community wasn't there, even the witch.
She'd asked her out. Right, so you could have 2 elders, which are priests basically, and one could be a postman and one could be a designer or a brickie or anything, whatever. And they'll just come around, they'll counsel you, and they'll read you a couple of scriptures and say that's that. And then a couple of sisters might come around from the congregation and help you clean the house, and that's that. But my mum never left her bedroom. She just used to drink every day, just blackout drunk. And then we'd go to meetings.
Did you have to go quite fast then? Would you say at that age, like if she's obviously drinking and he was looking after you?
No one was looking after us, no. Because my brothers were all there. They didn't do nothing. It would have affected them as well, but they didn't do nothing. I remember I used to have to wear my sister's school shirts to school. Yeah, I remember some lads laughing at my shirts in PE because it said like 36B on it, and I didn't realise it buttoned a different way. Like I said in my last podcast, I didn't own a pair of trousers till I was sent home from secondary school on the first day.
Yeah.
And I think my mum, because she could have afforded me trousers, we had money left over, she bought me cords. She'd buy me one jacket. She didn't really give a toss, you know what I mean? She did with my sister in some way. She was over strict with her. She had to go to violin lessons, clarinet lessons. She was a girl. She was this, that and the other. It was all with me. I'd say my mum bullied me. She did beat me. Sometimes. So I don't remember a lot about it.
Is she still around today?
Mm.
Did you ever get that opportunity to like speak to your mum about the way she treated you?
No. Yeah, I know. So I rebelled me a lot and stuff like that, and left the meetings and everything. Everyone else tried to be good for her and stuff like that, but I rebelled. Took a couple of overdoses and stuff like that. I was just.
Is that where the
drugs and?
Would you say that's where the like anger like stem from? Because I know you spoke about before about you had this anger and that you was like fighting. Do you think that could have been the root?
I think it was my security. Yeah. I think this is what I need to get to a point of. It was my security. So my brothers and sisters, my sister had to be in at a certain time. I didn't necessarily. But I had to wait for all my brothers and sisters who were even a lot older, maybe getting married, to come home, even at 2 a.m, yeah? And we had this big house. Now I would be that scared of this house that I would go round and check every door was locked in that house before I went to sleep, because it was like no one gave a shit no more. And so I think it was my security, my protection. I just think that's the way it went. And the only time I did speak to my mum about it, which is crazy, and people may believe it or not, it's up to them. we got called home from work the day she was dying. So I was like 20. Knew she was going. She was in the front room, sweet. And I accepted she was going to die. I didn't. Probably still am now. And then...
Is that to protect you, when someone's in denial? Is that where you're scared of letting go? Because I'm sure... Yeah.
Like, I spoke to you a minute ago, and you said, like... sorry for bringing this up.
No, bring it up, yeah.
So you said your dad lost his dad at a young age.
Yeah, he was 3 years old. My dad lost his, yeah.
Yeah. You've never had that conversation?
Yeah, I was always scared of getting shivers, like... Sorry, like... I just got...
Yeah.
Getting shivers, like, wow.
You're getting choked.
Yeah, fuck. Not had that feeling. I don't know why I'm getting upset, like, but yeah, I just never spoke to him about it because I was scared of like him bringing up his emotions and seeing my dad upset. So
because you see your dad in a certain way.
Yeah, I've never really seen my dad that upset. The only time I seen him upset, we had to get the dog put down. We had a Shar-Pei, the wrinkle dog.
I know what Shar-Pei is.
And aggressive, like really aggressive.
Oh,
and it's like the alpha male of the house. Like he felt he had to protect the family from everyone, so he'd attack everyone. This dog. And one day, we've had a few incidents and there's spending thousands trying to sort this dog out because the dog was just attacking everyone. Like. And the dog was on pills, like antidepressant pills, and just trying to depress the dog from attacking everyone. And it turned on my sister and it bit my sister on the arm, and that was the last straw. Parents, they'd done everything for this dog and they couldn't sort it out, so we had to put the dog down. And that's the only time I saw him cry, like, yeah.
Because he was attached.
Yeah.
The thing is, so like, even with you getting choked and stuff like that, that means it means something to you.
Yeah.
That means your dad's feelings mean something to you. And I think in the same way, my kids don't ask me, and people don't ask me about my parents because they know I don't talk about it. I talk about the facts and this, that, and the other, like the boxing and the window sales, but I've never had that thing where, how does it make you feel? And I think once you talk to your dad about it, if you ask him that line, like, how does it make you feel?
Yeah.
That's an all different line to cross. Because that's not saying, are you okay? Did it affect you, this, that, and the other? That's saying, how did it make you feel? And then you've got to think, how did it make me feel?
Because I know, I hope you don't mind me talking about it. I know, like, through my mum, because I'm really close with both my parents, but I'm especially close with my mum. And she says, like, he gets upset about it, but not around me and my sister. Like, so I know he gets upset about it. I know he still grieves today, even though he's so young as well.
Does he grieve, though? This is
yeah.
what I don't get. Because I don't think I've ever grieved for my mum or my dad. And I think this is the majority of problems. And I think your dad's obviously older than me. And blokes didn't talk then. They talk a lot more now, but still not as much. Women are more communication. Men have to put on that strong front. So they don't talk about it. They don't grieve. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel that has he actually grieved about it, or did he just move on with his life and move on with the changes like I had to? Because I had no chance of grieving my dad. No chance of grieving, because I was involved in this religion.
Well, because you had so much going on, like the Jehovah's Witness and...
Well, I had a double life. So I had to be at school, where I'm knocking on kids' doors at school who try and bully me for being a Jehovah's Witness. And not all of them, like, you know what I mean? But some are giving you shit for it. And then I'm being taken out of school at Christmas. I have to sit outside an assembly, so I'm different, you know what I mean? And this, that, and the other. And I've lost a dad. And then you have to come back from holidays and put, what did you get for Christmas? What did you get for this? And even teachers back in my day will buy everyone a pencil sharpener, a Christmas one and shit. Yeah. I wouldn't get one, nothing like that. I'd be singled out because of it and stuff like that. So when you haven't got a dad and you've got that stuff taken away from you, and then you've got all these other elders telling you how you should be and how to behave, because you can't behave how you want to behave as a kid. You've got to behave how the Bible tells you to behave, or how the Bible, how they interpret the Bible for you to behave.
It got put on you from quite a young age then, didn't it? Like,
so I was born into it, yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't know any other way, really.
No other way. If it had had a dad, I think it'd have been totally different.
Did you get bullied then for the religion? Is that where the whole fighting probably come from in terms of like protecting yourself in some ways?
It wasn't so much fighting. It was more, I put up a massive guard so I wouldn't let myself get in that situation. Like I'd go and, you know, when kids go in lunch in different years,
yeah,
I'd go in lunch with the younger kids because I knew I had nothing in common with the lads in my year, you know what I mean? I'd struggle at break times of knowing where to go and what to do. So I'd fuck about at school and get in trouble and steal things and do this. And I was allowed home on Thursdays at dinner time because I got kicked out of woodwork because I couldn't stop fucking about. So it wasn't the fact that I was starting fights and doing loads of trouble. I was just like a rebel with, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Is it when you've got all this like pent up energy, is it? No, because school isn't for everyone. I mean,
I was pushed in the river on my birthday on the way home from school, right? What for? I was pushed in the fucking river, right? I had to walk back to my granddad's where my mum and everyone, all my family meet to drink alcohol before they go to the meetings. Did my mum give a shit? Give a shit about anything? I got sent home a letter asking if she could sew my school uniform. My school uniform was blue, so she sewed it up in green and red thread.
Yeah.
I could have been bought a new jumper. She was just pissed. She didn't give a, you know. I love my mum though, but this is what I want to get right is me and my mum were closer than anyone. I think my mum, she had a rough time as a kid, yeah? My mum saw the same thing in me. We had the same blue eyes and we could be as dangerous as each other. And in some ways, I think we had that closest connection that I don't know. She was a broken woman. And the religion didn't help her. And I believe the religion killed her and the alcohol killed her. And they say cancer killed her. But it never killed her. It was the alcohol and the religion that killed her. When
you said that goodbye, then did you ever forgive from the stuff?
Oh, sorry, that's where we were at, isn't it? So I got sent home from work. Loads of people were there that shouldn't have been there. I didn't want them there. No, I wish they weren't there now. Can't stand them. But my family were there. Now we all got to spend 5 minutes in the front room with my mum laying in bed dying. I swear to God, this is what happened, yeah? I got to go and lost because I was the youngest one, yeah? The youngest one. And I went in there, and then I was chatting to my mum. She was gone. I was chatting to her, and I held her hand, and she said, sorry. I swear to God, she said, sorry. She couldn't speak, she couldn't do nothing. She said, sorry. And I was like, wow. And another thing is, about a week after, my sister got given a card, okay, that my mum had got another sister from the congregation to write for her. And my sister's card's beautiful. I'll see you in paradise, this, that, and the other, and everything. Then they sort of formulated a card for me. And my card will break your heart. Because it says, Eddie, deep down, I know you could be a good lad. You need to stop what you do. And it's just like, it's calling me a dickhead. You know? It's, but I know that's not the intent in it. But even my sister said, just burn that card, boy. It does break me heart, but I can't burn it because my mum wrote Eddie on the envelope when she was dying. And I love my mum. I wish she was back. But when she was drunk and she was nasty and she could become violent, she did not know what was going on. So one time she came in my room, she beat me all around her face and everything with a wooden shoe and everything. And then after I went into a room because I was scared she was going to come back, and she had no idea what had gone on. You just know, no idea. Well, why are you apologising? What's happened?
Yeah.
You know?
When was that moment for you where like the alcohol come into the situation? Was you quite young, or teenagers? Or?
We broke into our first warehouse. Well, I don't know if it was there first, when I was maybe 8, just after my dad had died. And that was an alcohol warehouse, and just getting pissed in there.
Oh, wow.
And I had to walk him out his house and try and that sober. So drinking was just normal back then, and especially in our family was so fucking normal. Like, we would just meet at my grand's like that, and they'd have a bit. I wouldn't have a bit, but my other auntie, who wasn't Jehovah's Witness, would took me loads of fags, stick them in your bag.
Oh, really?
And then I'd meet mates, and we'd have beers, and then we'd get down to, we'd have parties, and there'd just be drinking. It was
quite normalised, really. Like, everyone did it, like, in them days, yeah.
Yeah, it was just drinking. And I remember everyone always taking me up to bed and try and make me stick my fingers down my throat so I'd throw up, and try and, not in a nasty way, but saying, you're pretty fucked. And then lay next to me in bed while I'm throwing up and stuff. So, yeah, drinking was thingy. And like I said, my mum, because she was secretly hiding it after the meetings, she'd have brandy, and she'd have like special brew after the meetings. 5 meetings a week, remember, so she could get...
Can you drink if you're Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah, you can drink, but so the Bible says in celebrations, drink, be merry in it, and all that stuff, and it's a social thing. I believe that's what it says. I haven't really listened to the Bible much, but my mum's wasn't that kind of drinking. You don't drink special brew. It's a 9% lager, you know what I mean? Have you tried it?
No.
Fuck.
Try the Brewdog one. Brewdogs are pretty strong. Like, yeah, they're like 12%, some of them.
Yeah. In them days, I think it was like special brew. I think there was Kestrel Super as well, or something like that. But she used to have these special brew. She'd throw up quite a lot and everything. But she'd always have alcohol in the house. She'd make a lot of trifles so that she could keep a lot of brandy in the house and stuff like that. We'd find it and whatever. But my mum, in the end, she used to, because I'd be so persistent, I think because of my ADHD, I'd be like, if you're having a drink, I want 2 Scandi Green. So she'd buy me a couple of cans.
When did you find out about the ADHD and everything? Like,
2 of them just went, where are your ADHD meds? And they went, you are clearly ADHD. And I went, how do you know? And they said, they went through a questionnaire, and they said, you are totally ADHD. You need to be put on for the thingy. And then about a year later, I was tried to be fast-tracked through, and then I was diagnosed within 5 minutes and put on medications. So I was diagnosed ADHD maybe... That was 2017.
Did you know when you were younger then? Was there signs of it?
4 years.
Yeah.
There would have been, but there was no such thing as ADHD when I was a kid.
Yeah. What do the tablets do then? Is it your attention? Is it?
They do it in your mouth. They do. So do you know? So the tablets, they use Ritalin and methylphenidate and stuff like that, and there's different ones, but over here it's mainly methylphenidate. Americans use different ones. Ritalin's a combination of different things. So methylphenidate is basically speed, amphetamine, yeah? So methylphenidate, whereas if I give that to you, honestly, this place would be spotless. Honestly, you'd be...
Yeah, clean everything.
Yeah. Whereas for me, they chill me out.
Yeah.
So say I can't sleep at night. If I have like 2 Baroccas, energy drinks, and then a double strong coffee, I'm flat out. So whereas somebody else, it does the opposite too. So stimulants for me calm me down. But then you've got to keep track of how many stimulants you're having,
I was going to ask, when you spoke earlier, obviously, about the alcohol very much being part of your life when you was younger. When did it ever become a problem? Or when did you realise, this is probably a problem now, I'm drinking way too much?
I knew it. And I first knew 2 times it was a problem when my mate... I had a few friends at the Jehovah's Witnesses, but they were all older than me. And I had a mate who used to buy bottles of whiskey, and he used to drink it just like for the sake of drinking it and showing off. Me, I didn't. I drunk it to get absolutely wasted. And also, his family had gone away one time, and they had loads of bottles of alcohol there. And he was fixing his BMX bike, and me, I was just going through his alcohol and tapping it with water. And that's when I realised that.
How old were you then? Like
9, 10. Not old.
Yeah.
Not old. Like I started drinking. My first drink probably at 8, 9, 10, 11 and stuff. And then I drank a bit at school, like with the other lads, because we had a local pub you could go to, take off your tie and you get in and things.
Yeah.
And my mates would be able to have a drink, but me, I'd always be absolutely fucking comatose.
Yeah.
Always an absolute dick of myself and everything. And the only time I found that I wasn't a dick of myself is when I started taking speed bombs, you know? So if I'm banging in the speed bombs at the same time as drinking the alcohol, I can dance here.
Yeah.
I can start pulling a bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I look like I've got
Did
a bit
other
about
drugs
me.
come into that situation when you got into like your 18, 19? Like, is that when?
Drugs, yeah. And when I pretty much tried every drug.
You mentioned earlier, just before we started the podcast, which I was shocked about, was Oxycontin, yeah. I mean, like, obviously, 'cause I've been watching these documentaries on Netflix, and like, people come hooked on it, and the Slacker family?
Is it the Slacker family?
Yeah, literally just killing people. Because people become addicted to it, and usually you do it like with a cancer patient, but they're giving it to people who've just got a knee problem or a back problem. Right?
I can't be sure of this, but it might be the same as crystal meth. Have you heard of the 2% Club?
No.
So 2% of people, I believe this to be correct, under be able to tell you better, 2% of people who smoke crystal meth actually live. They call them the 2% Club. And I think Oxy's are similar. It's up there because basically Oxy, it will kill you. And it is, like, I have had it in different ways. I've taken the pills, I've sucked the shell, I've crushed it.
You say it's stronger than heroin, like
it's stronger than heroin, yeah. It's definitely stronger than heroin, yeah. Because heroin's probably mix of all sorts of shit you're putting in and everything like that. And even pills I used to have, ecstasy used to have heroin in, you know?
Yeah. And
they were back in the day when they were Mitsubishis and love art. So I've gone through all that sort of stuff, speed bombs and everything. Cocaine, loads of cocaine about. But Oxycontin, yeah, it's so different. For me, I had it a few times, but it feels like heaven. You do feel heaven. But it's the itch. So even with codeine, I get an itch. With Oromorph, with any opiate, I itch. So I even if they ask me for an operation, I'm like, don't give me any opiates because I itch. Do you know? And the itch is absolutely
some people
crazy.
experience that, and then some people
who are on Oxy and take Oxy get used to the itch because of the other side to it, you know what I mean? Like, I suppose it's the same as any drug. If you're drinking alcohol all the time, you get used to feeling down, you get used to feeling like shit, you get used to feeling rough the next day, but you still won't fucking stop because it's an addiction.
Alcohol is just as bad as any of these A-class drugs, imagine, like, but it's more readily available. I read just for this podcast, the price of alcohol is 75% cheaper than it was in 1987.
Yeah.
Because of the supermarkets and
it forced me off.
Everyone's got access to it, yeah.
And this is the most disgusting thing I think they do with alcohol. So, alcohol is so cheap and you can't go anywhere without seeing it. And even for me, as I walk out of here and I see it everywhere and it's like that. And every day I've got to tell myself, just don't drink for today. Some days are easy, some days are, but alcohol is one of the only 2 drugs that I know of that can kill you if you basically stop like that. So if you're alcohol dependent and you stop, you can have a seizure, it can kill you. I've had seizures, bad seizures, you know. The other ones is benzos.
What, so if you just stop?
If you're dependent on alcohol, right, you're highly dependent, you're pretty much guaranteed a seizure. And that is fucking risky. So when you go to an alcohol advisor, they will bring you down by like 5% per week. They have to wean you to. And the same with diazepam and any sort of benzos, because they can kill you if you just stop. But heroin, if you're on heroin, yeah, you can overdose on heroin. But if you're on heroin, you just stop. Can't kill you. You got to go through fucking hell.
Yeah.
But it can't kill you. Cocaine can't kill you. Speed can't kill you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But drugs that you can dependent on can kill you. And alcohol would be higher than a Class A now, they say, because it's so readily available. And how many adverts? This is what annoys me is, right?
Like Christmas, especially, yeah.
Christmas. 3 crates of this for 20 quid. When people are having the hardest fucking time and the nights are dark and people are on their own, and it's fucking horrible.
What was your experience then with like rehab? Like, how many times have you been in rehab?
Never.
Never.
That was when I done that podcast. They wanted me to have been in rehab. If I'd have been in rehab, I'd be a lot further on than I am now. Yeah. So I was offered rehab, and I was offered it they offer it for like 3 months, 6 months, 12 weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I was so extreme and costing the NHS so much money, they offered it me for pretty much a year.
What? In terms of costing the NHS, is that because you was like in and out of hospital?
Yeah, ambulances and this, that, and the other, and police and just
everything. Yeah,
I was costing anything I could cost. Yeah, like ambulances galore, and then they've got because I'd have to always have security with me or police with me, because I'm on a different planet then. Do you know? And
how long have you been sober now? Is it over a year?
So I reckon, and I will try and work this out. It's the 20th today, so in 3 days, I think I'm 16 months.
Amazing that.
I'm either 15 or 16 months.
Yeah.
I'd have to check on my last picture on Facebook, but yeah. But I was 3.5 years, you know. I was 3.5 years, but a lot further ahead. And that was done at Christmas. I gave up on Christmas Day, you know. Do you know why I gave up on Christmas Day?
Why?
Because I knew all the shops would be shut. So I kept myself 4 cans, knowing that I could have a seizure, but knowing that no one would give me alcohol. So I spread them cans out, scared to death in case I would have a seizure. And that's why I stopped on Christmas Day.
Wow.
And that was when I was 3.5 years. And then my new date is May 23rd.
But your mental health and your headspace is a different person now, would you say?
Yeah. And I'm so much further than I was, and I love it. I get a lot of people messaging me and asking stuff, and I can advise them, and I can just say, listen, I do believe that you need a medical detox, so I'll pass it on to someone who's more qualified than me, or I'll just say, why do I do this, or I'll teach them tricks that I learned, because I didn't do the 12-step program neither.
What advice would you give to someone who's like struggling with alcohol addiction and like how to overcome it?
Just the biggest thing I think is that what they'll do is they'll say, oh, I'm drinking less, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I've left a bottle of alcohol in the fridge for this amount of time. Fuck that. Yeah. What I'd say is speak to somebody, speak to as many people as you can. If it means going to an AA meeting, if it means going to your doctor, if it means your family, it just bare your fucking soul of how much you're hurting. Bare your soul, and honestly, and there will be someone, even if it's me, just message me.
Some sort to, yeah.
Do you know? And I'll do anything, absolutely anything. If it means me going to London and sitting with someone for 3 days, do you know what I mean? And just sorting them out, because I know what it can do. I know when people are bad and they ring me up and they're in a bad place, I don't want to be here no more. I don't know. Do you know?
Scary, yeah.
Yeah, and they're in no mindset. So, and because it's alcohol, there's so much shame attached to it. You know,
there's a bit of a stigma, would you say, with alcohol?
Yeah.
With more so guys, would you say, than women? Same, mate.
I'd say it's a lot more, guys, yeah. I'd say women are a lot braver about talking about alcohol and stuff like that. I'd say men don't because they think it's an unblokey thing to do. And the way I look at it is I just always imagine an Australian bloke, do you know? As the sort of bloke who has, not fosters or whatever, but imagine that sort of person. Blokes don't do stuff like that, do you know?
Yeah.
But there is a stigma, as in, addiction's addiction. Whatever the addiction is, and I'm not going to say cigarettes or stuff like that and everything, because there's out there and that's going to kill you. That probably kills more people than anyone. But I'm talking about these drugs that will fucking destroy your family, destroy your life, take everything away from you.
I've read only 18% of people actually get support for the alcohol addiction, which is shocking, isn't it? When I was doing the research, I was like, so not many people, You
don't get support though. I didn't get support. So for me, I'm drinking such a long time. I've never been allowed no counselling, never. And then only because the last time I started drinking again, and the amount of people in Buxton, because I was upsetting everyone, because I assaulted a couple of people and this, that and the other, and I was causing havoc, rung the police, and the police coming to me, and eventually I went to hospital 3 times, and they just sent me home. And then the last time they kept me in because I was in such a bad way, and security were watching me, so they kept me in for a month and then put me in that respite for basically nutcases, which I loved. I did love it. But that's the only time. And then my occupational therapist, through my sister, fighting her arse off and saying, he's going to die. My occupational therapist and my sister worked together and they got me. And finally, on September the 6th, I start long-term psychology, which is long-term counselling.
Yeah.
Because they've always said to me, 10 sessions has never been enough. Because this is how they said it. It'd be like unleashing a monster.
You said earlier that you're scared of unpacking, looking in on yourself. That scare you?
Yeah, what's there? So, when we were talking...
What is it you're scared of unpacking? Like,
so when we were talking before about
your childhood and...
From that point where my dad died, and I can only remember bits up until I'm about 13, 14 years old. They say it's like this, it's like taking it out, getting your shirt off, washing it, ironing it, folding it, putting it somewhere and stuff like that. And that's why it's got to be long-term therapy, but they say it's going to be hard before it gets better. And I know I've got to do it, but I've never had to talk, so what do I talk about? And then what if I start talking and things start opening up that I wish I never knew?
So when you start opening up a door and you don't know what's behind it. Yeah.
Even with the torture,
Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
because when I heard about it, I mean, I couldn't believe it, you know what I mean? And this was someone who lived on the same street or the same road.
Sort of. So I was sat on Facebook one night. Back in the days when you had Facebook on your laptop. Not when you had it
on your phone, yeah.
And this woman come up, Barbie Michelle, who knows someone called Barbie, that's fucking weird. Anyway, she comes up and then she writes a long thing, she knows everything about me. She says, I remember you had a fight at the actual pub and you beat the shit out of somebody because someone had died. I think it was your brother or your mum. She goes, and your girlfriend was in Greece at the time. So she goes, your mate's worried about you being arrested, so I walked you home. And she goes, you were distraught. So I stayed the night with you. She goes, nothing happened, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
About this, that and the other. And I'm like, fuck, that'd be true.
I just know that,
Yeah, so... And then I kept looking at her face and I says, I remember you living near me. Your name's Michelle or something. She's going, yeah, well, I've had to change my name because I'm a famous author now. I live in Turkey. I'm a psychologist. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm gullible as fuck, me. I'm taking all this shit in. She goes, basically, I'm back in Buxton to look after my mum who ended her life. I don't know anyone she fancy meeting for a coffee. I will say nothing like that, because she was an horrible, ugly, skinny, weird-looking witch thing. But I like to reminisce, me. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I met her. I could tell she was weird. Could tell that she liked me. But she was a 6-stone woman. And I'm quite a big lad. And I've done a lot of like fighting, as in I'm a trained fighter as well now. So I had nothing to worry about with that, and I never even thought about that. And she used to come round, and she got a flat in the end, and she used to go and see her mum, and she was weird in her ways. She was very weird in her ways, and quite angry. She had that,
like, a gut feeling, like, a little bit, before anything happened. Like.
But this is the weirdest part, and I don't know if Hunter got this in, but this will throw you. So, let's imagine. So, basically, I was drinking for 3 months, okay, at one point. She was there all the time, right? That's when my sister rung on my brother and says, I cannot cope with Eddie. Them two weren't tight at the time. Cannot cope with Eddie. What's going on with him? Blah, blah. So my brother started coming down. My face, my body started looking worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So he took me to hospital. They transferred me to Wythenshawe. A team of doctors come see me, said, you've been seriously beaten over a number of weeks. She stayed with me in the hospital. She was always at my house. She said, no, he hasn't. I've been watching him. It's just him falling, trying to get a drink. This, that and the other. So my brother comes back to pick us up. I didn't want to stay in hospital, I had no broken bones, just all bruises and couldn't walk. She told my brother to get a bottle of vodka and she'd help me detox home. So I goes back home. But that's when my brother started coming around every day with Guinness and detoxed me in like 5 days. Fucking brilliant, 3 months. So all that happened, I recovered and I had so many facial injuries. Then I went 11 months sober. Then I seen a psychiatrist who said, I don't think there's anything wrong with you, Eddie. I'm going to change your medication. It changed my medication, 11 months sober. It changed my medication to summer, and I didn't feel right. And I was telling everyone I don't feel right. And I did start drinking again. She'd gone on holiday, and then all of a sudden she found out I was drinking again, I think. So she rung me or texted me saying, are you all right? I said, I'm drinking again. She goes, I'll come out with detox.
Yeah.
So this is the second time. She came round to my house this time, okay? And these are the bits where I started remembering. I remember her filming me, beating me with sticks. I remember her putting fags out of me. I don't know how my legs were done. I've heard they think they've possibly done with blow torches now because they've done my feet and my things. Yeah. I've been stabbed a lot. I was beaten a lot. The twist on my spine, this and the other. I remember 2 people. And I managed to get out after 2 weeks, 5 days. I found my phone, which I believe I was set up to find my phone. But anyhow, this woman had something called Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah, I've heard about that from where they're trying to, they want to help someone, but they make them ill because they want someone to care for. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they've not had enough love as a kid themselves. Yeah. So they're obsessed with that person, so they have to keep them sort of poorly to keep looking after them.
Yeah.
But she do you know she poisoned her own son and gave him brain damage?
No.
Yeah, so she spent 5 years in prison for that. That's why she kept changing her name, you see.
All right.
Then she got 2.5 years for claiming she had terminal cancer and stealing £145,000 off charities and the government.
Yeah.
And then my case went on for 8 months and the police couldn't finally get her guilty because they waited over 30 days for the CCTV footage of her emptying my bank. She'd emptied my bank.
Yeah.
I'm so dry.
No, it's like, yeah, because she take like $4,500 or
4,300 and something.
Yes.
But yeah, so what she'd done is she'd done that. So she actually done it twice, you know. Mm. She came to see me the second day in hospital as well, yeah. And she was still taking money out of my bank, and she brought a bottle of vodka.
What? Is she in prison now?
No, she's in. From what I've seen, I can tell you she is after you. Check out, she's setting up charities and she's working with celebrities in London, setting up cancer charities and all this lot and everything. And she's such a fraudulent and she's a dangerous, dangerous woman.
Yeah.
A 6-stone woman, yeah? And the stuff she was giving me was making me paralysed, you see.
You mentioned you felt like you was a head on a stick.
Yeah, they couldn't move. One person came around twice when I was in that, because she was using my phone pretending to be me. So nobody come around. One girl came around twice, and apparently I was covered in shit and piss and everything. And she'd help her pull me up. She'd go in the kitchen, Michelle, Barbie, whatever you want to call her. She'd make some kind of drink for me, pour it in me, and then I'd just go back over, and she'd be like, look at the fucking state of him. I'm sick of looking after him and this, that, and the other.
And she was the one doing it, right? Scary, man, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and the only reason I got out of there, I think she knew that I was about to die, because if you've seen the videos, I was
out of it, yeah.
Yeah, so I found my phone, and I'm just hitting buttons, and got hold of an old boss, Andy Bagshaw, 6:40 in the morning on Sunday morning, and he just said, I just said ambulance.
Yeah.
And he said it took in 15 minutes to talk the ambulance into coming to my house, and they found me naked and just burnt and thingy. And she went to my house, rung my sister, goes, where's Eddie? I've been looking after him. Then after that, do you know what happened after that? Before they sent Socko team round to my house, secure, she bleached the fucking house.
It was spotless, yeah.
And she washed the pillow, she suffocated me with, yeah, she was, yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine, obviously, like, what you went through, and then fucking memories and like traumas and stuff.
Exactly. I mean, so it's all that coming up again, isn't it?
What I turned it on, like, how's it being a dad now to your two little girls? Like,
God, I mean, the girls, aren't they? Right. So my eldest is brilliant. She's got a dead good job. She's dead confident. I've needed it. She's done tons for me, tons of helping. She sometimes leaves me. Sometimes because she's so OCD, I'm clean, but sometimes because she's so OCD, she needs to go away, reset, you know. So, and then come back and stuff like that. But she's got 2 houses. She's got her and her mum's. My 17-year-old's totally different. She's doing criminology at college, uni.
You must be really proud of them, yeah.
Yeah, she's different. She's so much more like me. She's quite quiet. She's quite her own person. They're just brilliant girls. And I mean, Hila didn't speak to me for a year, you know, until recent. And it's like, I feel so lucky because I've let him down so many times, you know. I missed both the proms. I was in hospital on both the proms, you know. So yeah, I'm just. So to me, because I've not really been a dad to him, I just try and be the mate. And I'd say they're the bosses. If anyone. Yeah, they're the bosses, and they're sometimes like that. They're like,
do they know everything you've been through as well? Like, imagine obviously when they was growing up and stuff. Like,
they know. Yeah, they know.
They must be proud of you now, obviously, like, over 16 months.
Everyone's proud of me. Yeah. This is the thing, you don't realise it. And I'll go and sit in a pub, which isn't often.
Yeah.
Not because of the environment, just because. And I'll get people saying, is that Eddie? And they'll come over and they'll sit with me and they'll go, oh, I'm so proud of you. I've heard this and I've heard that. And it becomes a bit cringe, you know, when someone's sort of telling you how good you are and they're sat next to you.
It's weird when they've seen something of you or a video or something, because you don't realise sometimes you put stuff out there in the world, and when you get it back and people, oh fucking hell, you helped me get through this.
Yeah,
it's very fulfilling, that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I get a lot. I get a lot of that, but I get a lot. What I get a lot of more is like, if you think you've had an hard life, you should hear Eddie saying this. I get that a lot more. And I'm like, it's not a competition, mate.
Yeah.
You know, I say, listen, me and you could be in a car crash. It could really mess you up, whereas I could be fine, or the other way around, you know what I mean? That's part of PTSD, you know, which I've got as well and stuff like that, isn't it?
What gets you through now? Like, what is it, your mission or helping people? Like?
That's what I want to do. I've got... Recently, I was in hospital for my spine, you know, because of what they done. The doctor rushed me into hospital. There was no pressure on my spine, but my back was bad for a bit. But I've been sort of passed on to an IPA, which is an individual placement advisor, which puts you in work in the work you want to be in. Do you know? I've done a lot of courses as well, so I know what I'm talking about, and I know what I want to do. So it's just about deciding which avenue to go down. But I'm on Facebook to help anyone. I'm on, you know, my Insta's Eddie's Recovery. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm on there to help anyone. Do you know? I'm just some people just write to you from the other side of the world, and it just touches you. You know what I mean? And when you hear what they've been through, it's like,
put it in perspective. Yeah,
and you realise maybe I have been through quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Don't know anyone who's been through like the stuff you've been through or like spoke about on this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's it. And I just do what I do, and the thing with me is I need routine.
Yeah.
And routine's dead important. And when that throws me out, that's what gets me down. Routine, and I can start losing myself with routine. So if I've got a good routine, I'm really focused, really confident, really everything. And I think that's part of taking my meds and everything. Because sometimes I think, do I really need it? And I don't take it for a bit.
You show me how many tablets. It's so many, innit? I was like shocked. It's like, how many tablets was in that tray? Like 8, 7, 8?
I don't know what's I'm on. I'd reckon in the morning I'm on.
But they keep you on the straight and narrow?
Yeah, so a lot of them are, some of them are painkillers for my spine because of the spine was twisted too far. But I have strong antidepressants. I have 2 types of antidepressants. Strong ones. I have ADHD tablets. Through the drinking, I've got Barrett's esophagus or Barrett's arthritis or something. It's called esophagitis, which is bad, which kind of tightening. So I have tablets for that. I've got a permanent acid reflux because I used to vomit blood every time I drunk. Yeah. Because it's caused some damage. And then I just take general vitamin Bs and stuff that they give me just to help my liver. But, you know, my doctor will say to me, he goes, honestly, Eddie, for an alcoholic, you know, you look a fit man. Like that. And I'm like, thank you very much. He goes, don't ever think you're a fit man, no. I'm like, all right, you've got ginger hair. Yeah. You know what I mean? But,
no. Honestly, Eddie, it's been inspiring, honestly, having you on the podcast. And honestly, I really appreciate you coming all the way down from Buxton to come to Manchester to kind of record this with me. And I know it's going to help so many people, and I'll do as much as I can to kind of get the awareness out of your story. And yeah.
All I want to say is one thing I just want to add on, do you know?
Yeah.
You were mentioning before that what would you, how would you advise somebody? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd say just get some balls. Just get some balls and fight for yourself. Because no fucker else will fight for you. And once you start fighting for yourself, people will come. People will come. Just initially take that first step yourself. And even if you get knocked back, just message me, just message whoever, message everyone. Just remember, you're one person. There'll only ever be one, and you're worth fighting for. You're worth fighting for. Because the thing is, when I had to write down once everything that alcohol had taken from me, and it was a lot. And then I wrote friends and family, and everything they had taken from them, and it was identical. So you're not on your own. Do you know what I mean?
There's people out there who can help you.
There's people that are being affected by your addiction, and if they lose you to that addiction as well, that destroys so much. So everyone, you just mean so much to somebody.
Yeah.
Just talk. Don't be scared of stigma. Just think I'm special. If I can stop drinking, how special am I? If I can do this, I can inspire people.
What you've been through and sharing your story, like, you know what I mean, you're going to inspire the next person, hopefully listening to this or watching this, like they can take that next step as well.
Exactly.
Amazing. If anyone wants to follow your journey, Eddie, have you got your Facebook or Instagram handle?
I've got.
I can share.
I ain't got no YouTube or nothing yet. I've got Eddie's Recovery.
Yeah.
His Insta and just Eddie Stainer.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
Amazing. Honestly, pleasure. Make sure to kind of check out Eddie's story, and if you guys can subscribe to the podcast and make sure to follow Eddie. Appreciate it. Cheers, Eddie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.